All right, so today we're going to be learning about order of operations. Now, order of operations is the standard used to how to solve any math problem. There's a certain order that all mathematicians or all math has done to make sure everybody's on the same page and basically we'll have the same answer. So it's broken down into 6 letters. All right, this is how we're going to remember it. So you got P, E, M, D, A, S. Now, these each stand for the steps and the order you need to do it. So the first one is P, which is parentheses. Your E is your exponents. M is multiplication. D, division. And then addition and subtraction. So this is the order that you should solve every math problem in. Now, a lot of them you won't have to worry about it, but for the big long ones, there needs to be an order in there. Now, the biggest thing to remember when doing it, the multiplication and division, they're done at the same time, and we'll kind of show you how that's done. But how you know which one to do first is you're going to go from left to your right. Just like you read a book, you start from your left side and you go to the right. So as you go at any time you see when you're on these steps, if you see multiplication or division, that's what you're going to do. It's the same thing with addition and subtraction. These are also done at the same time or the same step. And again, it's from your left to your right is how you know it's done first. All right, so there's a couple ways to remember this. Some of will remember PEMDAS. It's a weird word, but it kind of sticks. What I was taught was the phrase, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. All right, and in those letters, you got the parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, adding, and subtracting. So either way, whether you want to remember the word PEMDAS or whether you want to remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or if you come up with your own one, as the weirder the better. It sometimes sticks, the better it is. So we're going to do a couple problems. So I'm going to start off with an example here to kind of show you. We're going to start off with, not in parentheses, 9 minus 5 times 3 plus 2. Okay? So, what I tell my students is sometimes on tests and homework or whatever, just to remember it, if you want to quickly, just in the corner of the page on the top, it doesn't need to be big, but write it down. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or the PEMDAS in there so you remember each step. So we're going to start with P. Do we have parentheses? Yes. We got to deal with what's in the parentheses. And in the parentheses is your 9 minus 5. So we do that first. The 9 minus 5 is going to be 4. And we bring everything else down so we don't confuse ourselves. So that times 3 plus 2. Now we go to the next one. Any exponents? No, there's no exponents. So then we deal with multiplication and division. We do. We have 4 times 3 right here. So I gotta do 4 times 3, which is 12. Bring down the plus 2. And then we go to the next step since there's no other multiplication and division. We go addition and subtraction. It's just 12 plus 2, which gives you 14. All right, another way, that kind of trick that I've learned throughout the years is you can make like a little pizza. The original problem, if you want to box it off as that crust, the answer, you circle it, there's a pepperoni, and you can kind of see it goes down and gets smaller and smaller to make a little pizza. However it works for you or whatever it gets done, you know, more power to you with that. So let's try another one. We're going to try this one. 12 minus 2 plus 8 times 2. All right, so again, if we want to box it off, let's kind of know that's our original problem, or your pizza crust. Now you have, again, parentheses. So we start with this 12 minus 2, which is 10. And again, bring everything else down. So now we have to look at, well, do I have, again, no exponents? But what about my multiplying or dividing? And I do. I have an 8 times 2 here. That's what I do first before this adding sign. All right, so we bring down this 10 plus, and we do 8 times 2 to give me 16. All right, and then you look for adding and subtracting. Well, 10 and 16, 26. And circle that if you want to finish off your pizza slice. All right, so now we're going to try another example. We're going to have one with an actual exponent this time. All right, so again, if you want on the top of the page, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally on the top so we remember what we need to do. So let's try this one. We're going to have 10 minus 3 plus 10 minus 5, and then this parentheses is going to be squared. All right, so again, start with parentheses. You have a parentheses, you actually have two parentheses that you need to deal with both of them. You can deal with them at the same time. So this first one, 10 minus 3 is 7. Make sure to carry down that exponent, which is to the second power. Now you have a plus. And you have 10 minus 5, which is just 5. All right, so we're down with all our parentheses. Now we go to our exponents. We have the exponent there, 7 to the second power, which is just 7 times 7, which equals 49. So 7 squared is 49. Bring that down. Bring everything else down. 49 plus 5, is that what we're left with? So again, no multiplying or dividing, but we do have some adding. So 49 plus 5 is going to give you 54. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys some problems to work on. Again, if you'd like to stop the video, work on them on your own for a sec, and then I will go over them at the end. So we have here 12 plus 2 minus 3 squared. Another example. 3 squared. And then the last one will be 10 minus 2. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys, or please pause the video, attempt these on your own, and then you can play it again and I'll go over it. All right, so hopefully you've gone over these or have done these on your own so we can go over them. I didn't leave myself enough room on these, so I'm going to rewrite them down here. So we start with the first one. We had 4 times 12 plus 2 minus 3 squared. All right, so again, start with your parentheses. So we deal with this, 12 plus 2. Again, bring everything else down that you don't use. So 12 plus 2 is 14 minus 3 squared. All right, now we need to go exponents. We have a 3 squared, which is just 3 times 3, which is 9. So 4 times 14 minus 9. All right, now we look at multiplying or dividing. Well, we've got a 4 times 14, which is what we have to do. So again, if you don't know this off the top of your head, which you might, you can do a little side work. So 4 times 14. 4 and 4, 16. Carry the 1, 4, 5. Gives you 56. All right, so that's going to be 56 minus 9. And again, now adding or subtracting, well, we have subtracting. So 56 minus 9 is going to give you 47. All right, so that's your answer for the first one. For the second one, again, I'm going to rewrite it. So that's 53 minus 5, in parentheses, minus 2, minus 3 squared. So, again, start with parentheses. 53 minus 5, well, that's going to give you 48. Bring everything else down. All right, now exponents. From the last problem, remember that 3 squared is 9. So 48 minus 2 minus 9. So then we actually have two subtractions. So again, left to right, we're going to start with this one because this is when we go from left to right is the first one we come across. So that's 48 minus 2, which is going to be 46 minus 9. And then we do the 46 minus 9, which is going to be 37. All right. So now for the last two, we had 8 plus 24 minus 4 in parentheses. That's all times 4. Okay, so we start off with parentheses. Now the difference is here we actually have 3 numbers and 2 operations in there. Once you're inside the parentheses, it kind of starts a whole new order of operations. So we're going to start with here. You're adding and subtracting, that's all you're dealing with. And remember, you go from left to right. Whatever you run into first is what you're going to do. So 8 plus 24 is what we should do first. So again, 8 plus 24, that's going to be 32. Bring everything else down so you don't confuse yourself. All right, now we still have this 32 minus 4, which is going to be 28 times 4. Excuse me. So now we don't have any exponents, but we do have multiplying. So we have 28 times 4. All right, if we need to do it off to the side, we do it off to the side. So 4 times 8, 32. 4 to 8, 11, and you get 112. All right, now the next one, or the last one I should say, we had 10 minus 2 plus 8 times 2. So again, parentheses, 10 minus 2 is 8. Bring everything else down. All right, so no exponents, but we have a multiplication sign, so we gotta do 8 times 2. Bring everything else down, 16. And then we just have 8 plus 16, which is gonna give you 24. All right, so if you need extra practice, find some stuff with extra practice, but hopefully you can learn order of operations. Remember, it is always, always used. There's never a time, or you should never ask your teacher, do we use order of operations, do we don't? It's always a must. Thanks.